Hey, how's it going, guys? Look at that. I get 2 weeks off, and I don't have a clue what I'm doing here now. Welcome to the Party Hog Road Story Show. I am your host, the Party Hog, a.k.a. Mike Braniff. That's my real name. And thank you for tuning in to the show here tonight. You guys can hear me all well. Let's check it out. Check. 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 Yep. Seems to be going. Hey, not bad. How you guys doing tonight? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. I'm guessing we got a few new guests watching the show here tonight, and I just wanted to let you know that it's snowing here in Edmonton, so it's a good thing to be staying in tonight watching the show. Anyway, so before we get going here, let's get a cheers going. Cheers to you. Good to see you. I got a drink. Have you got a drink? Are you sitting with a drink out there? Let me know if you're drinking with me tonight here. All right? Good to see you. Welcome to the Party Hog. Well, you don't do that and then not drink, asshole. Here we go. Oh, Christ. Oh, boy. Anyway. You know what? Welcome to Party Hog Road Story Show number 13. Lucky 13. We're going to rock and roll here tonight. Get my little bug going there. Look at that. Technology. Jesus. Where's my producer? Semenko Dave when I need him. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Fortification Security Solutions. My good buddy, Fort McMurray. That's his real name, folks. Fort McMurray. Fort is his first name. Clinton is his middle name. He probably didn't want me telling you that. And McMurray is his last name. Fort McMurray. He is a great locksmith. He'll come fix your doors, fix your locks, get you anything, any kind of security thing you need, secured mailboxes, all that kind of stuff. He's your guy. And Fort, I love you. I know I haven't called you for about a week or so, buddy, but I truly love you, brother. Thanks to all your support for the show. Get a hold of Fort for your security solution needs. Man, just stuff's rolling off the tongue here tonight. Hey, so thanks again for tuning in to the show. Let's roll. What have I got here? Well, I got a special guest that I'm going to be bringing up in a little bit. But first, want to mention that I'm up to number 10. Even though this is show 13, I've been doing a series of my best gigs and my worst gigs. And I just wanted to do the continue the series. I don't know how I've got 13 shows, but I'm only on number 10. Let me tell you about my my 10th. The 10th worst gig of all time that I ever played was Lake City Casino in Kamloops, BC, at 2005 there. Basically, they made me set up my solo act, the Party Hog, with my gear right in front of a row of 5 slot machines. So all I heard was boop, 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 boop all fucking night when I was playing. I had a railing behind me, like a garden railing, and the cafeteria was behind me. So I had some friends come and sit behind me while I played. I was cool with that. No problem. My friends left. Well, this person in a dress, now let me preface by saying I got no problem with any of this stuff at all. Really, I don't. However, I think this guy was doing this more as a gag, to be honest, and I don't think he was really who he planned to be. Anyway, a guy wearing a dress, good 5 o'clock shadow, came and he sat down in the chair right behind me in the railing. And I'm trying to do my gig on New Year's Eve, and all of a sudden I feel fingers tickling my bum from behind through the railing, and I turn around and I look at this gentleman in a red dress, bad makeup, and but anyway, I told him, hey, knock that shit off right now. I went back, played another song, and sure enough, I know I was doing The Joker by Steve Miller, and I feel this little tickle on my ass again. Turn around, what the fuck? I said, hey, that's it, buddy. I tell you, no more. Don't do it again. Or sure as shit. Next song, the guy reaches through, gives me a little bum pinch. So I turn around and I just wham, give him a shot right in the arm. I didn't hit the guy across the head or nothing like that. Just a punch in the arm. Well, I finished my set, and immediately it's like, you, come, take me into the back into the security office, and they've already got it on another monitor ready to roll. They play the tape. It's like, what's going on here? We just saw you hit that lady. And I'm like, it's no fucking lady. It's a dude in a dress, man. How did you guys not know that? I'm like, how bad are you guys for security if you can't tell that? I'll be like, seriously. But anyway, short story long, I never played there again. And to this day, they still think I punched an old woman. And I don't know where that guy went, but wherever he is. Anyway, off of that. So let's get on to my my top 10 best gig of all time. Look at that. The High Run Club in Edmonton, Alberta. Early in 2000. It was the first gig for the band I just joined called the Joint Chiefs. And it truly was an experience for me to be on stage looking over. And there's legendary rock star from the Models. And I mean, just an amazing guy. Brent McNabb. Brian Cymbaluk taught me so much. He was my guest a few weeks back as well, too. Great drummer with Famous Blue Raincoat. Phenomenal. Just a human drum machine, man. The guy's a monster. Great singer, great guy. Taught me a lot about singing and salesmanship, professionalism, all that. Look to my right, I got Keith Spaulding from Click playing keyboards, and I'm like, you know, the best cover band I ever saw in my life, and he was the main guy in the band singing, and there he is right next to me playing. And it was just he was my guest a few weeks back as well too. So who have I got left on that stage that I haven't had from the Joint Chiefs? Well, you know what? It would have to be my good friend Andrew White, the lead singer. And I'm looking around and I'm like, how the hell did I get here? How did I get here? And it wasn't a great gig. We were a little, you know, we were good and tight and all that, but it was just the first gig for the band. So it wasn't a spectacular weekend of that, but damn. For me personally, to be on that stage looking around at those guys, my peers, and I'm playing bass and singing, it's just how the fuck did I get here? Anyway, it was a good moment for me. That was definitely one of the best gigs of all time, which leads me to the gentleman that was standing next to me right in front of Brian's drum kit, singing his ass off just every single time. I'm going to do this right here because I want to do him justice here. Let's bring that up there. I've got a special picture that I want to share with everybody here as I introduce him here. He's worked with Haywire, The Grapes of Wrath, The Tea Party, The Pursuit of Happiness, The Odds, Spirit of the West, Widemouth Mason, Gord Downey, Treble Charger, 5440, Natalie McMaster, and many more. He worked at and for such legendary venues as the Citadel Theater, the Boiler Room, the Sidetrack Cafe. Also, for 20 years as lead singer with the Joint Chiefs. Coming on 28 years almost. Yeah, recorded CDs with the Cafe Gurus and Marketforces as the producer, engineer, and lead vocalist. Most recently, he is the tour manager, sound tech for Sass Jordan, has been Kim Mitchell's sound guy for the last 6 years, touring Western Canada. Toured with Gord Bamford, mixes the Canadian all-star band Toque, featuring Todd Kearns, Corey Churko, Brent Fitz, and Shane Gallus. He's been teaching a live sound mixing course for the past few years. Man, with a local sound company here in Edmonton. Will you please welcome? I'm going to have him bail me out here because obviously I got tongue-tied. I love this man to death, Mr.
Hey,
Andrew White. Welcome to the show, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing really good, Mike. It's really exciting to be here. Good to see you. Fun to be your guest, I'm sure. So let's have a little fun.
You betcha. Like we always kid around that we're cousins.
Yeah,
you know, like
that was why we got you in the band, Mike. We wanted you and me and Keith. We wanted to have the hairiest band in town.
That's right. Stocky, hairy guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. With Brent. Brent must have been the kicker then.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We were a front line of a football team. Well, good to see you. How are things?
Yeah, good. It's been, as we all know, it's been a very challenging time lately for everybody. And certainly, in my business, it ground to a halt. I literally did a gig in March with Toque and caught a flight home, got home, and everything shut down within a week. Yeah, and it was a good year so far. I was really excited about getting out. Sass put a new record out. Kim is putting a new record out anytime. The Toque guys, all those will be happening after this is over. So
yeah,
I think actually Kim's going to drop his in December, and it's going to be amazing. I know that for a fact. And the Toque record probably early in the year. So yeah, I've just been trying to stay busy. I helped the Toque guys with their podcast by doing their guest research for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing some live location multi-track recordings. One client was Canada's Music Incubator, which you can find on Facebook. I believe it's Canada's Music. I think it's the whole thing, Canada's Music Incubator, CMI. They're a great help to emerging artists. And they had this terrific series called Play the Parks, where myself and a video guy went and recorded 5 different acts over 3 days in these different parks in Calgary.
Yeah.
And then we, mixed them and edited them and put them back together. And they aired them on the Calgary Parks website and on CMI's Facebook page. And those were really popular. And the acts were great. I did that Slash and the Bleeding Hearts live stream a few weeks ago. That was a lot
great.
of fun.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
Those guys are good buddies, and it was a good time, and they were great. It was a lot of fun.
That's good. It just, it's good that you're keeping busy as we can, I guess, eh? Like, I mean, look what I'm doing.
Yeah.
How did I get talked into this,
I've got a couple of your basement shows, and they're great. I love hearing you play, man. Best one-man band going.
Thank you very much. Well, it's the show was all Semenko Dave.
Yeah, was tough little bugger.
Dave. Yeah. Oh, geez, I'm getting told I got a buzz on my mic. No, okay. My producer's telling me, no, probably not. I probably put the microphone away there. Might be fixed now. Let's hope so. Hang on. There we go. Jesus. All right. We're working it. So, hey, you ready for to start the interrogation here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hang on. Before we do that, you got a drink handy or what?
Yep.
Cheers. All right, butter. Let's
Cheers,
get in
buddy.
there. Let's go over. Cheers to you. I wish I could say I was drinking the good stuff, but oh God, I'm not.
Getting the liquor cabinet getting low again. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bottom of the. I'm drinking gifted tequila now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like there's the stuff I buy, and then there's the stuff that I've here. Yeah, you. No, thank you.
Yes.
Anyway, so Andrew, let's start at the beginning, man. Where were you born? Tell me.
I was born in Ottawa, Ontario, and lived there for the first 11 years of my life. And my sisters and my brother were much older than me, so they all left home and went to university by the time I realized what was going on. And all they had left behind was the entire Beatles catalog up to Rubber Soul and records. So that was my whole life when I was a kid. We were real poor. Anyway, my mother and I ended up moving out to the West Coast. She got a job offer out there, and when I was 11 in 1972, and we were in Vancouver for a year, and then we moved over to Victoria.
Oh,
so I spent my teenage years there, and that was interesting.
That must have been nice. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, it was kind of nice. It's sort of weird if you ever want a kid to, if you're ever worried about how your young kid is going to make out in the world. Maybe don't move them across country when they're 11 years old, because and then moving again a year later, it was really hard, to make friends, and you're so social when you're a kid, and you define yourself sometimes by hanging out with people or the friends you have or the things you get to do. So I was kind of I had to look after myself and keep myself occupied, and music always filled that. So I ended up getting a job in a used music store that was in the same building that we lived in downtown Victoria. And that was where everything pretty much started right there. The summer I was 14 years old. So that would be 75.
Mm-hmm.
I had that job, and I, decided I was going to learn how to play guitar. So I bought a guitar and started to teach myself how to play. That went kind of slow. But it was really cool, meeting all these people who were musicians, seeing what the lifestyle was like. And at the same time, the guy who owned this music store, his sister and her husband owned the coolest rock club in town called the Brown Jug. And it was around the corner from this music store and in the same building that my mother and I lived in.
Mm-hmm.
So because I worked in this music store, I was allowed to go in there at night at 14 and watch the bands. And this was like the best bands from Vancouver and Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
So not only am I meeting all these great musicians and stuff, and enjoying that at the music store, but at night I'm getting to see these incredible bands and sound men. And, I sure wasn't out there socializing. I was allowed to sit next to the till and watch the band, and that's it. And I would go there every night.
Wow.
And watch the bands for a couple of hours. And that's kind of how I got the bug.
Jesus, that's a real fortunate situation to be in, because I mean, I would have killed. I was sneaking into the bars at 17, of course, that's,
yeah,
but that's different. I was 2 beers and I was, liquored up back then. So, boy, yeah, that I remember the Brown Jug. I know I've been in there. I know
it was up a really long flight of stairs.
That's I recall my brother doing a gig there years ago or something. But anyway, let's move along there. Yeah, that's Victoria. One of my favorite places to play of all time. I tell you, I loved going there. It was great playing the Forge down in the basement there.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, that's a neat place. It was always fun for me to go back there on tour with bands I worked with, and
so tell me about your first gig. Was your first gig singing, playing, or did you kind of get into the engineering part right from the
get-go? I fooled around with some teenage bands and jammed with some people, and I just ended up humping gear, and getting interested in the tech side of it, because I was still didn't possess the talent required. So and having the option of self-teaching,
mm-hmm.
That makes things kind of go slow. So that's how that, it started out as I just wanted to be in the business. I just wanted to be, I decided that this was the life for me,
Let me pull up a shot here. Everybody can see you at about 17 years old there. So
yeah,
tearing up the nightlife in Victoria. And well, like, how old were you when your first gig?
Let's see. Well, the first gig I ever played that I got paid money for that wasn't a joke was the first time the Joint Chiefs ever played in 1991.
Oh boy!
And the first time I ever I went on the road with a band to learn how to do sound and lights. They thought I was a cool guy. I knew a little bit. They could teach me the rest. And the 3-piece band that was based out of Duncan, BC, called Humphrey, Humfree.
Oh,
and just great guys, older than me. And it was so much fun to go out on the road and learn. And, we played 6 nights a week. So there was lots of time for learning, and I dove right into it. It became my whole life, and, pretty exciting, pretty interesting.
Yeah, you get that 10,000 hours they talk about of professionalism. I mean, working 6 nights a week, just week after week after week after week. It's just, you learn so much. And there had to have been a lot of guys in your position, younger guys as well, too. Isn't that how a lot of guys just get started? I mean, we found our follow spot guy, Cal, we found him at the end of a hallway one day, and he just kind of, we needed someone, hey, we can teach you, we can train you. And 5 years later, he's out touring with Age of Electric.
Yeah.
It's like they kind of learn along the way. They get that first experience, and we're working with some older guys, and out they come kind of, yeah, we'll teach you, we'll kind of nurture you and bring you along, and the ball starts rolling. That's pretty cool.
Well, it's very exciting. It's very alluring. It's, it's this combination, doing what I do. It's this combination of the art and the tech. Mm-hmm. And to be so close to music that means a lot to you, which is, for me, rock music, to see that made and performed up close, and to aid in getting that out to the show, that was the most I could do in that field. So that's what I did. It was so exciting, and it still is.
So you guys were mostly doing like the hard BC Alberta 6 night a week.
Oh yeah, and this was like B circuit for sure. It was, like
Smithers.
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Terrace, yeah,
Vanderhoof.
Williams Lake, Quesnel. Yeah.
Oh, I know that tour well, buddy. Oh yeah, Soyuz, yeah, Castlegar. But I mean, still fun towns to play. Did you guys make it out to Alberta as well too, and hit all the Pinokas and Stetlers and?
Just a little bit, not that much. They did previous times, but I ended up coming out here later with other bands. When I first I did sound and lights for that Humphrey band, and then I became a lighting guy. And I did lights for a few bands on the Vancouver A circuit. Broken Hearts, Amy Cannon band. Amy Cannon, who later married Mick Mars.
Oh boy,
and
really?
She was one of the Nasty Habits.
Yeah.
I did lights for her when she played in the bars. But so I did that, and then I got this gig with this young band, and they needed a sound guy and someone to look after them on the road. And I needed to get better at doing sound because I could see there was a ceiling for me with lighting. So we rented this PA, and I'm calling my friend Joel Van Dyke, who's from Edmonton originally. I'm calling him on the phone. And what does a crossover do again? And how do I hook it up? And, there's one thing about having good ears. The other thing is knowing how to work the stuff.
Yeah.
So once I got a few weeks under my belt of that, I was good to go. And I've been a sound guy ever since then.
That's awesome. So what brought you to Edmonton? You got here.
I married a girl from here. I was on the road. Well, we were in Yellowknife, and we went up there before the ice bridge formed. And then while we were there, the ice bridge formed. No, first they held us over, then the ice bridge formed, and we had to stay another 6 weeks. And I ended up marrying the bartender from the lounge.
Yeah,
and that was what was her name? That was Janice. Was my first one.
Sorry,
really nice lady, excellent lady. But yeah, so and then she was from Edmonton. So when we were done making money in Yellowknife, she said, "Let's move down here." So, and that was 82.
82.
Yeah.
Good old Yellowknife. Jeez. Yeah, there's not much to do in Yellowknife.
No. And I didn't drink when I was younger. Now now I have my pro card, but I didn't drink a drop when I was younger. I drank on my birthday and like New Year's Eve. I just smoked weed all the time. So
yeah.
A place like Yellowknife where you can go outside and it's light for maybe 3-4 hours a day. It was interesting to end up being there for the 8 months or something I was there.
Oh, jeez. I can't imagine. Yeah, I did a month up there. That was enough. I remember they were peeling me out of the cab. I was screaming, "I'm not going back in there. I'm not going in there." Like, yeah, we got one more fucking week to go, buddy. Get your ass in here. Let's go. Like, kicking and screaming. So you got to Edmonton. You started to work with some of the local talent here, Jensen Interceptor.
Well, that was great because I got a gig working with Doug and his wife Charlotte and the band they had at that time. And, Daryl Mays, Al Blaine, Ed Johnson. Just, once again, I'd gone from this great group of people on the West Coast who were very serious about music. And all of them till this day are still involved in the same creative endeavors. The guys I hung out with in high school, one guy is a mural artist and always has been. He toured as a lighting guy for a long time. One of them is a bass player that's played with so many great Canadian acts. You can imagine the other guy's a piano player that does his own thing and has played with, he's played with Randy Bachman. So I'd gone from those guys and then to get to here and meet the Jensen guys who are very serious about their music. Not overly, but just serious about presenting it well and playing well and having good technique and good chops and delivering a quality show. So it was really great for me to be able to see that right up close. and I worked with them for a few years, and then I started looking around, and I got some advice from Clive Alcock, actually, who at the time was the owner and operator of the legendary All Star Sound.
Yep.
Pardon me. And he said, find the best band you can, and a local band you can, and become their sound man. So I was like, okay. So I went out and saw, a bunch of bands, and they were all really good. I saw Darkroom and a whole bunch of local bands, and Neo A4 just, really spoke to me. I really liked their music. I liked the more sort of progressive, clever aspect of their playing. So I just, I met them and just kind of weaseled my way in there.
Got a picture of you with A4 in 1980.
And still dear friends to this day. To my, that's me in the top left in my Late Night with David Letterman shirt. That's my dear friend John Tidswell, who I was in the bands Cafe Gurus and Marketforces with. Still one of my best friends. Next to him, same deal, Joel Anderson, my best buddy. Rick Johnson in the front there, Kelly Morris and Bob Wagers. Kelly Morris, excellent lighting guy. He's a site manager for Live Nation here. And Bob was their manager. He lives in Toronto. Great guy.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember. I didn't get to see many of the acts back then because I was out working as well too. But I'm obviously always hearing about the local bands. And the local bands that were doing kind of the right thing. I mean, we were just playing Ozzy, doing covers and stuff like that, whereas these guys were trying to record some music and really take it to another level kind of thing. And as well, like you worked with Famous Blue Raincoat, kind of in the same
Well,
vein.
actually, what happened was the Neo guys got a record deal and they moved to Toronto. And so we shared a rehearsal room with the FBR guys, and I was friends with them. So it just sort of happened. Their sound guy couldn't make it to a gig, and yoink, next thing you know, Andrew's got the gig. So, and that was great. Hardcore Edmontonians, those guys. So I met so many people through them. And, I for the first few years of friendship with Brent McNabb, I just idolized the guy. I mean, I thought he was the coolest fucking guy.
Yeah, he's rock star.
I never met. And, it was, so I was pretty thrilled to be around those people. Yeah, hooked up with FBR and Darkroom as well. Ended up doing some really great recordings and stuff with Darkroom in that late 80s time period. There wasn't the place to play were starting to decline. And so people were recording more. Every musician, we'd gone beyond the era of Porta studios, the 4-track cassette things. Yeah. And there was now computer-based things starting to happen. And so
SMPTE and everything. Yeah.
People were trying to make their own records. And because I was their sound guy, I got to be involved in that. And I started to learn how to work in the recording studio as well. And that, it's because it's completely different from being a live guy. It's you still got to have balance and good ears and stuff, but it's a completely different discipline. Live is like, so much of it is guerrilla, you go in there and you roll up your sleeves and you do it, and it goes out in the air and it's never heard again. But recording is a different thing. It's almost the opposite aesthetic. And, but it's been interesting to acquire those kind of skills and be able to merge the two to make myself better overall.
That's awesome, man. Being able to, dip a toe in each pool a little bit, and work with one genre right into the other one and little crossover. But yeah, they're two totally different things going on there for sure. I mean, when you're making that recording, it's for life. Yeah. It's every time you hear that, it's going to be that way. So
yeah,
I mean, I've done recordings where there's something on there I don't like, and it gets to that part of the song when I'm playing it for somebody, and I'll oh yeah, they didn't even hear that part. Then there we go. Oh, I love that. That was great.
Yeah.
Trying to slip that by. So tell me about your first the first big touring gig you got.
Well, I was out with Neo A4 in the summer of 1988, and we got the very plum opening spot on the Haywire tour in the Maritimes. And they had the year before had put out Don't Just Stand There. And so, Dance Desire and Black and Blue and those songs. So we somehow got the opening slot, and we went out there and did that. And after the tour was over, Haywire asked me if I would join them as their monitor tech and go on tour with them across Canada with Honeymoon Suite on a tour bus. So, of course, I said yes.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And it was amazing. It was super exciting. It was to actually be doing it.
Full tour across Canada. Eh? Just riding the bus, the prairies, the
everything, seeing it all, going to, Roy and Noranda, Quebec, and Campbellton, New Brunswick, and so many, Quebec City, and seeing all these things that I'd always wanted to see. It was great. And the Haywire guys were awesome. Such a great band. They were so good. And Paul McCausland was such a good singer and performer. I mean, that dude could fucking dance. So,
yeah.
And, that's the other thing about doing this too, is you get a front row seat at the master class every night.
Yeah.
So, instead of just trying to, later on, after I started the Chiefs, when I would come home, I wouldn't be thinking about, I want to, have a good gig tonight. Cause it'd be fun to have a good gig. I would think, I want to try to be as good as the people I work for.
Yeah.
I'm going to go as hard as they do. I'm going to try as hard as they do. I'm going to know my shit as well as they do. I'm going to learn from them, and I'm going to put it into practice. Well, I probably took about 10% of the stuff, but hearing singers like, when you get to work with people like Sass or Peter Fredette or,
oh yeah, Jesus.
Sean Verow from Wide Mouth Mason,
great singer.
You're hearing those people's voices every night, and then you come home and you put a little extra sauce on it. Nice. You want to try and breathe that same air, I guess.
Cool. Good way to put it, man. I like that. Good way to put it. So by chance, this is just a real side thing. My Mr. Crowley, my old Aussie tribute band, we opened for Haywire at the TNC in Calgary in 1988.
Wow.
Were you working that show? Maybe
in 88?
88.
No,
yeah. It would have.
I don't. I honestly don't remember. Maybe
80. Maybe 87. It might have been, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Time is, but I thought the same thing. What are we doing? We're an Aussie tribute band. Who booked this, right?
Right.
With Haywire, and I stood at the side of the stage, and I was just gobsmacked by how fucking good they were. I mean, just phenomenal. And of course, partying downstairs in the TNC after they held their own. Give them that.
Yeah, great guys.
Bass player,
Absolutely,
what's his name?
guys.
Yeah, the bass player is a great guy. I'm forgetting his name, but I can.
Ronnie Schweitzer.
That's it. Yeah, good dude. So from there, you kind of graduated out to the front of the house there with you put that down as the Grapes of Wrath.
Yeah, that was I got that gig because my friend Graham Nickel, the late Graham Nickel, he used to be a bartender at Scandals nightclub where Neo A4 played. And I met him there. He's a Scottish dude, really big nose, really, really smart and really, really funny. And he ended up getting involved with Network in Vancouver and working with the Grapes. And he later did lights for Sarah McLachlan. Before he passed away, he was the Cure's lighting director for their last couple of tours. He worked with Shakira, all these people. Anyway, Graham Nickel, I guess, brought my name up to the people at Network. they had me they flew me out to Vancouver, and I did one gig, or we did 2 gigs in one day. And then I got the tour. I got told I was getting the tour. And at that time, that was their These Days album. And their video went to #1 while we were out on the road. And we were playing like Jubilee-size venues across Canada.
Nice.
And, I had the boiler down, but this was a different thing. And it was so exciting and so much fun. So, yeah. And I ended up staying with them for a couple more years because the Grapes, one of the guys left, and they turned into a band called Ginger. And they put out a couple of records, and we toured those as well. And that was when and then I moved out to Toronto for a couple of years because I got offered this gig. I had this guy call me up. He lived in the same apartment building as my father, and we had the same last name, my father in Toronto. And he said, I was doing a gig for Haywire. I hadn't seen them for a few years. This is like late 92. And I was doing a gig, doing front of house for Haywire at the, whatever the exhibition in Balloon Days in London, Ontario. Ray Pierce, awesome. Pierce Audio, Pierce Sound. And he said, my band, I manage this band, and they're opening for Haywire on that show. Would you mix them? Because I really want you to see them, because I'd like you to be their tour manager and their sound guy. And so when the Grapes of Wrath turned to Ginger, I became the tour manager. I was just a sound guy for the Grapes. I became the tour manager with Ginger. So I bought a computer, and Network set me up with, they had a great community of people who were really smart and computer savvy, set me up with all these great templates. And I learned how to use a Mac just from having to road manage this act from a 9-inch black and white screen on a Mac laptop.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Anyway, so, this guy says, I want you to hear this band, and I think they're going to be huge. And I was like, yeah, well, okay, whatever. Sure. I'll mix your band. So these guys play. They're a 3-piece band from Windsor. And they were just absolutely amazing. And I got it. And they had such a very heavy Zeppelin vibe. And I've always been a Zeppelin dude. And so about 9 months later, I moved to Toronto because I got the gig tour managing and mixing the Tea Party right when their first album came out.
Man, awesome. Jeez.
And that was very exciting. We went from nobody knowing who they were in June to September, and they were the hottest band in the country. And this all happened while we were on the road. And we we did a lot of great shows. We did a tour of Quebec where we did secondary markets in Quebec. So we go to all these small places, and people just went nuts for them. And we'd play in Montreal at these massive places, and it was great. And we had Roy Harper out on tour with us as an opening act.
Jesus, no way.
The guy who sings lead on Have a Cigar.
Yeah.
And just, that was a real eye opener. I'd worked with a lot of really great musicians, but Jeff Martin, I'd never met a guy like Jeff Martin before. And I was in awe of his abilities. And it was a pretty good hang too. I was just 30 then, 31, 32. And it was a lot of fun for sure. I didn't last long in the gig, to be honest. I worked for them for only a few months, and the manager fired me, the same guy that had hired me, and the reason why. But I was in Toronto. The scene was happening. We were in the thick of the 90s can rock explosion. I picked up a gig with 13 Engines, and from that I worked over to The Pursuit of Happiness.
Hey.
And I worked with them for a few years. Toured Australia with them.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I was the tour manager and the front house guy. I wasn't the tour manager in Australia, they smartly hired a local guy.
Yeah.
But it was pretty exciting to go and be part of that. They were such a terrifyingly great band. Like, of all the shows I did with them, they were the only time they were not 100% right down your fucking throat was at the end of a really long Western Canadian tour. And for some reason, our last date before returning home to Toronto was in some sports bar in Barrie, just north of Toronto. And we were also,
somebody was doing somebody a favor
on this high, and it was not great. But yeah. So, and then when things got going good with TPOH, I moved back to Edmonton '95.
You also worked with one of my favorite Canadian bands of all time. And to me, they don't get enough respect. The Odds. I absolutely love this band.
Well, I got that gig because TPOH and the Odds used to play together all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we became really good friends with those guys, and they were my favorite band. Like, when they would come to Edmonton, everybody I know would be at the gig. I remember when Bedbugs was out, their second record, and they played at Banditos. And I swear everybody I knew was there, and they were so good. And I saw them at the power plant, and I'd always chat them up because they were just good guys. And then when they lost their longtime guy, he left to be the tech director, production manager at the Commodore Ballroom.
Mm-hmm.
The job was open, and they offered it to me. And that was so great. I loved that band. Still, some of my best buddies, and I'm very, very fond of those guys. They were very, very good to me.
Like, honestly, I can't say enough good things about the band musically. One of my Canadian Beatles kind of thing going on, not on that level, but I mean, some of the songs, the vocals, the harmonies, lyrically, we used to do Someone Who's Cool in the Joint Chiefs together, and close. Oh God, just sympathy's the answer. I'll have temporary cancer, but that's not what'll happen. Like, just insanely great lyrics. Some of my favorite lyrics. I just love the band. I used to play Truth Untold, Eat My Brain, and those were some of the most fun songs I've ever sung as in covers. I love the Odds, man. That was so cool.
Well, I know for you and me, cuz that kind of smart, hooky pop has always been literally music to our ears. I mean, I know we're both huge Jellyfish fans.
My Jellyfish
I know
brother.
We're both big Odds fans,
Yeah, I like that power pop stuff. People think I sit and listen to Sabbath all day, and nope.
Yeah.
I've never owned a Metallica record. Honestly.
Really?
I'm putting that out there, folks. I've never owned a single Metallica record. I don't want it. Sorry. No disrespect to those guys. They're awesome, but
no, they're great.
But I own all the records by the Odds.
Yeah, well, you hear Metallica on the radio every hour, so
that's kind of why, So, and at weddings, like when it comes up as the wedding song, you're all right. Anyway, so Spirit of the West, you did worked with them as well too. Now, I mean, one of their Home for Arrest is my go-to song. As soon as I'm done, finish my gig at the end of the night, the first song I play when I'm done is Home for Arrest, because I know if I play that, I won't get called back to do an encore because they don't give a shit about me anymore. They just want to hear the rest of this song, right? So
that was we ended the night with that many times. They were just amazingly great. That was a whole other thing, I've been so lucky. I've worked with people who not only were talented musicians and had some standing in the business, but they also had a little bit of integrity and a lot of smarts.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's the thing about the Odds and the TPOH guys and the Spirit of the West guys. And, it's, they were also very bright people, very inspiring to be around. It's hard enough when you're traveling, living out of each other's pockets and everything else. But, to have people that were interesting and sometimes quirky, interesting. Mm-hmm. It was so much more rich, so much more of a rich experience than just marching out there and doing the gig. And it's the same thing with the Kim guys. You know, it's such a cool gig.
There was a big burst of Canadian music through that time there. Yeah, like you said, the Tea Party, the Wide Mouth Mason, Treble Charger, 5440, all these guys were just hitting it and
IME, OLP, Headstones.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great burst of Canadian music we're sadly missing right now. You know, about the only rock thing going right now, Toque.
Yeah.
You know, it's sad
and
we don't have that
that's
big...
I feel like that's my victory lap. That gig, it's like my perfect gig. It's, you know, 4 guys. I'm a little bit older than them, but just by a few years, a couple of years. But we all came up doing the same thing. We've all always been in the business. We know we have a lot of the same friends, and we're all really deadly serious about the gig and being proficient and competent and delivering a great show. And when the guys are that nice and have that kind of a pro ethic, I mean, it's honestly a pleasure to go to work.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not always the case. Working with Kim Mitchell, it's easy for me because I'm just the sound guy. And just in the West, Bob Schindel, who's mixed Kim for many years, still mixes him in the East. And I'm just lucky enough that he's busy enough to let me do this stuff. But Jesse Mitchell is Kim's tour manager, and he's the best. He's a guy who does the job just like we used to do it old school, but without the arrogance. And he's just, you know, he's so pro, and everything's always taken care of. There's, you know, the guys in the band and Kim are all a little bit older, most of the guys anyway. So there's some nap time built in, you know, there's some hotel time built in. And I'm appreciative of that.
You. Yeah, me too. I would,
you know,
I need nap time.
It makes it so easy to be able to give your all when it's showtime, you know?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it's so much fun, you know, working with smart people who are driven to be good is really, really fun for me.
I've had a nap before every gig I've played for the last 4 or 5 years. It's mandatory. It's a must. Yeah. You got to get that nap. You know what? For the audience out there, why don't you kind of explain a little bit of what a tour manager does? I mean, some of the things are obvious. I mean, if you've seen Spinal Tap, you kind of know what Ian did in the movie, but
right.
it can't be
use the
all
cricket
like
bat.
Yeah.
Use the cricket bat to get the kittens in the box. And then once the kittens are in the box, you take the box and put it on the bus and you go to the next gig. It's essentially a tour manager is the direct communication between the artist professionally and business wise for the entire duration of the tour. And part of that job means you spend a great deal of time before you even leave home generating a schedule for what's going to happen every single minute of every single day that everybody in the tour walks out their front door. So you're like, you know, they get a thing that says, get into a cab, go to the airport, get on this flight that leaves at this time. You'll be met here, you know, and the logistics of moving people, the logistics of moving their equipment, getting the tour income, being the accountant, dispersing funds when needed, banking deposits, dealing with management who have their own agenda sometimes, or just, you know, working with them, putting your heads together to further things for the artist. But again, you know, sometimes you're kind of left on your own, but you know, I mean, you do the same thing either way. And day to day, you know, production, making sure that the right gear is there and that it's available at a certain time and that we'll have X amount of time to sound check and that the hotel isn't too far and that the hotel's okay. And, you know, how are we getting from here to here? If we're flying to there, who's picking us up? Are we going straight to the hotel? And, you know, if you have over 4 or 5 people, it's a lot. And it's a lot of responsibility,
lot of
because
work.
nobody wants to sit around, you know, waiting. They want to go. They want to go. They want to go to the gig, sound check. They want to go to the hotel and have a nap or have dinner, or, you know.
But if
So,
you're
yeah,
good at
that's
it, things
basically
if you're good at it, things run smoothly, and that's how you get the recommendation. "Hey, this guy did a great job, man. Bring him in."
Yeah.
You know. But that's got to
Yeah.
be
And I mean,
a lot of work to set all that up beforehand. You know, especially pre-internet days. That's got to be just
I used to
constantly
spend,
on
the
the
fax
phone.
machine was the greatest thing.
Mhm.
You know, I'd spend so much time on the phone and the fax machine and the exciting new world of email.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I was on CompuServe. There'd be a local dial-up number everywhere I went, kids. You'd get this list from CompuServe of all the local numbers in every area code in the world. So when you would be in Sydney, Australia, you would tell your computer modem to dial this local number so that you didn't incur long distance charges hooking up to the internet.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
14.4 modems.
Yeah, exactly.
That itchy, scratchy sound. Jesus. Oh my God. So yeah, it wasn't all, sex and drugs.
Well, the first couple of
you're
years,
finding lost luggage.
Well, yeah, I've lost my base. I think I left it at the airport. But it's, the first couple of years, everybody, especially if they work for a successful act, you tend to sort of indulge yourself a little bit just because you're a young person and things like that. But the sooner you get that out of you,
yeah.
For any young kids looking at this as a career, the sooner you get that out of you, the better off you'll be, because it's serious business, and the joy I get from mixing a show as well as I can. And if I'm the tour manager, all the details are taken care of and the band are happy and they have a good time, and then I get paid. What a feeling. I mean, that's all the validation I need to keep doing it.
That's awesome.
I love it.
That's good. So let's get into another chapter of Andrew White here.
On my porn career.
Your porn career. Let's switch to the porn career. Your videos are up on Pornhub, I do believe. So no, they're not. So you to me now, I got to back up a little bit. I think you were mixing Steve McGarrett's hair at the Boiler Room. Would that have been right?
Yeah.
And I recall going into the Boiler, and you got up and you sang "Ain't No Sunshine" by Bill Withers.
Oh wow!
And I was fucking floored, man. Absolutely floored. It was
what? It might have been Blackboard Jungle.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
that's right. My ex had dragged me out. I think it was like my first time ever at the Boiler as well too. It was like it's something completely new to me. I hadn't been to a place like the Boiler and really hadn't been to anything other than the heavy metal rock bars that I was playing in around here. But yeah, I came in, but I remember seeing the band play, and it was good band. It sounds great and all that, man. It was like you got up to sing, and man, you pasted me. Absolutely. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, why is he only singing one fucking song? Well, because you had to get back behind the board, I guess. But man, honestly, I don't know if a lot of people know this about Andrew White out there. I mean, if you know Andrew, you might know him from a professional audio side and that. You may not have heard him sing. Now, I know that there's a lot of people who know Andrew as the singer from the Joint Chiefs and have heard him sing. He is truly an amazing vocalist. And
thanks, pal.
I really, man, honest, you know how I feel about your singing. When I hear it, it's just, I love it. I love it. But I want to know who were your vocal influences? Who are your favorite singers? I know this, but we'll tell this out there.
Well, I mean, the immediate ones are everybody I ever toured with. But, Paul Rogers.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, first hearing Lennon and McCartney, and then I don't remember the first time I heard it, but I know that when I heard All Right Now by Free, it was all over. I mean, I just wanted to figure out how to make that sound with my voice.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just started listening to everything I could. And I was deep into the Cream magazine and the Circus magazine. And, you know, I mean, I was a kid who spent a lot of time by himself, and I was so into music. You know, I just devoured everything I could and listened to everything I could. So, you know, Paul Rogers mostly, I guess, you know, Steve Marriott, but could never sing. Could get close to Paul Rogers' range, but Steve Marriott is, you know, another level, I think.
Yeah. Geez, Steve Marriott. He you know, he doesn't. I noticed he was on your list on your post a couple of weeks ago, and he hadn't really been too much on my radar. You know, I mean, I knew who he was and stuff, so I actually kind of downloaded a few tunes there. And I was like, Jesus, yeah, I see what Drew's saying here. You know, Steve Marriott, but yeah, Paul Rogers for me too as well. God, that's now. You always had this desire to be a lead singer. And in 1992, you formed the Joint Chiefs.
Yeah,
the
with
very
Mike
first...
Steinchuck, with Mike Steinchuck and Shane Adams, who were the rhythm section in Blackboard Jungle.
So 1992, now let me math it up here, 28. That's 28 years ago, and the Joint Chiefs are still going. Now, if COVID aside, you guys might be playing a gig this weekend kind of thing, right?
Yeah, we got offered a couple of gigs in the last little while, and
good.
I think I'm just gonna wait, you know, till things are a little bit better, because I wouldn't want to book a show and then have to cancel. And, you know, we were talking a few months down the way, but, you know, I'm not done yet playing. I don't think. I was starting to think a little while back, depending on how long this goes, I am, but I really, really love getting together with the guys and playing, and people still come to the shows. So, you know, and in some ways we keep making it fun, you know, by always changing material.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, it's a lot of fun. It's a nice challenge.
And always a great set list.
Yeah.
Like even like to this day, you guys have one of the most varied and eclectic set lists I've seen played. I tried to find a copy of you doing Maybe I'm Amazed. I couldn't find it. But I get it. You know, best to get a good copy and not some shitty cell phone camera copy that's pointed the wrong way kind of thing. Right? You know how that drives me nuts. Turn the fucking camera sideways, you dummy. So anyway, that leads me to, again, at the top of the show, my top 10 best gig, Joint Chiefs. I was lucky enough to be in a band with you and Keith Spaulding, Brian Cymbaluk, Brent McNabb as well, in version 4.0 of the Joint Chiefs. I got a picture. Let's pull that baby up right there. Look at that. Handsome guys.
That's what happens when you let the singer's girlfriend take the photo. She was an art student, I swear.
Yeah, and you see me, I'm number 4 in the picture there, just kind of peeking over Keith's shoulder, like, yeah, I'm in this band too. I can't believe it. You know, like, just love it. Now, we mentioned Brian and I, and Keith as well too, had mentioned the Unholy Five that we played. We had an Unholy Five in the set list.
Yeah, we did.
And it was late 1999, 2000. The music scene had changed. Rock was pretty much dead. Everything was Britney. Everything was NSYNC, Backstreet. Pop rock ruled the day. And a lot of the rock bars in the Edmonton area had kind of, you know, shit the bed a little bit. So things had flipped.
Absolutely.
Things had totally flipped. And it was like, well, let's be the best band doing these songs in the city. And I think we reached that mark. I've got a little clip here.
Oh yeah. Oh great.
Of I didn't run this clip with Brian or with Keith, but there is some video that I have of us playing at the Voodoo Lounge here in Edmonton in the year 2000. The Voodoo Lounge, it just recently burned down a few weeks ago.
Oh yes, it was a gentleman's club in the last few
Yes,
years.
that's right. That probably had nothing to do with it burning down, I'm guessing.
No, nothing at all.
Nothing at all, man. Here we go with some of the Unholy Five set list. This is BHS video and VHS camera mic sound. This is this isn't the great quality stuff, folks, but this is just gold. All right, you ready for this? Enjoy
Can't
this,
wait.
everybody. Here we go. The Joint Chiefs, the Unholy Five. The Unholy Five.
Wow.
Now I know the fifth one there was always a little gray area as to what the actual fifth one was, because Keith thought it was unbelievable and praised you, and I think Brian thought it was another one, but for me, Sugar was the ultimate cheesy one there at the end.
Absolutely.
But Livin' La Vida
Absolutely.
Loca, man, you killed that song when you sang it. I loved it. I fucking loved it. I mean it.
Well, you know what? It just to me, it was like, I wanted to do those songs because I thought that us five guys doing those songs would be the most ridiculously impressive thing I could think of.
And it worked.
You know, that if I went out to a bar to see a good rock band and they looked like us and they got up on stage and picked up their guitars and went, "Hey, we're the Joint Chiefs," and then went into Bye Bye Bye, my jaw would drop. You know, I would think that's fucking cool. That's what I wanted to do, you know, and luckily for a little while, I found 4 other guys who bought into it.
Oh, it was amazing experience to play that stuff. Like, I remember when you first said it, I'm like, oh man, okay, I love these guys and I can't believe I'm here, but what have I done? Like, you know, and then that the first couple of times we played it, and of course the place loses its shit completely, and up they come to the dance floor, and they're like, and I'm looking around going like, yeah, I guess this stuff kind of works, eh? And then it got to the point in the night that when we were doing gigs, I couldn't wait to get to Brittany. I couldn't wait till we did Bye Bye Bye, just to see everybody's faces go.
Exactly.
These guys are fucking nailing this song, like just nailing it without all the dance moves and shit. But it was like, no, yeah, one of my favorite quick story I'm going to tell about the Joint Chiefs was when I remember you used to do the in-ear monitors, and Brian had the in-ear monitors and Keith had the in-ear monitors. Me and Brent, we were old school. He was like, So I remember somebody coming up to us at the Urban Lounge, and some girl wanted to ask you to play a song, and she's talking to you as the lead singer, and you kind of, you look at her and you go, no, I got these in. I can't fucking hear you. Talk to him. So you send her my way, and I'm looking over, and I'm like, you fucking can hear her perfectly, you dick. So she's like, "Can you play this?" I said, "No, we don't fucking play that. Leave me alone." You know.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure we know the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Yeah.
Oh, so much fun, and the vocals in that band, that was great, man. I learned so much playing with you guys. Honestly, to work with, I worked with some great musicians and stuff, but I hadn't worked with professionals on a level. I mean, and no disrespect to anybody I played with before, but they think they got to know what I mean. You guys were, pros, and I learned a shitload from you guys, man. And I've always appreciated that time with you guys in that band. Amazing.
I learned a lot from Brent and Brian, seeing them, how they rehearsed and how they prepared, and how they made records. I mean, that's the great thing, is you see the way these incredibly talented people apply themselves. Now, I don't have as much talent as them, but I know how to apply myself. So I'm going to do what I can do, and because I know that if I put my nose to the grindstone, something's going to happen, because I see it happen with all these people I work with. And, like, that was as much a learning experience for me as it was for you, cuz,
It was amazing. I want to feature you more as a vocalist, but before we get there, we did do a special gig in middle of 2000. We played at the Taste of Edmonton at Churchill Square downtown.
Oh,
Edmonton.
yes.
And we do have one picture that I'd like to share with everybody. I'll take these bumpers out here, and I'll throw that up, and there we go.
Oh, yeah.
There's your lovely daughter, Sybil, on stage with us.
That is the apple of my eye, my daughter, Sybil. And she was, I believe she was just 3 years old then, and she came up to sing Beautiful Stranger by Madonna with Daddy at Taste of Edmonton.
Oh, that's the song she did. I remember. I was looking at the comments, and Keith had said it was a 9 Inch Nails song that she got up and did. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure he was joking. Well, don't you remember I used to sing "I Want to Hug You Like a Teddy Bear"?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he couldn't sing the real words at downtown with the kids around. That's right. I hug you like a teddy bear.
I want to hug you like a teddy bear. Yeah,
that's awesome. What a cutie.
That's a great memory for me and for my daughter. She's at the U of A now. She's finishing up her poli-sci degree, and she's looks like she's going to go to law school.
That's awesome. That makes me feel old. That must make you feel much older, I'm guessing. But
absolutely.
Very proud dad. That's good. That's so cute. That really was one of the most adorable moments I've ever been a part of, man. I tell you, her singing "Beautiful Stranger." God, that's so. Now, before I get into some music here, you've also been very, very fortunate to be one of the few guys that's been on both sides of the stage at Edmonton's Rock Fest, put on by the Rock and Roll Society of Edmonton. And I've got a picture of you doing both of these jobs. Working front of house, and then as well on stage with the Joint Chiefs, singing with the lovely Lori Woodhouse.
That would be my one and only, my sweet love, Lori Woodhouse. Look at the legs on that babe. Holy.
Great legs.
Yes,
and on her as well too.
That was a really interesting day. I was so excited to play. I don't even remember it, because I was just so thrilled to do that. I loved the Rock Fest. I haven't done it for a couple of years because I've been out on the road with Kim or Sass. That time, August is a really busy time for them doing shows like this. But I mixed so many great bands. There were some years where I mixed everybody but like one band. Yeah. And it was just so much fun because the audience is wonderful. The setting is wonderful. And the Rock and Roll Society put on a great thing. And it was a big thrill to play there and to do it with Lori too. And the guys was pretty exciting for me, for sure.
Nice moment. It's nice to have that. And you got to be proud, man, being, there and there, kind of little double duty action. That's pretty cool shit, man.
It's weird. It's weird, but it's cool. It feels cool, but it's weird.
Okay, now this is the part I'm excited about. I want to play some stuff. Now, own a copy of this.
Ah, yes.
Oh, let's get
Great
it right
record.
there.
I like that record.
This is a great record. I played the crap out of this when I got it from you years ago. Like I told you earlier today, I don't know how this didn't get ripped and get put into my catalog, and so I went and dug it out and I found it here today. And it's a great record. Came out in 1998. Before I was working with you in the Chiefs, but I mean I've got a couple of clips that I'd really like to play for people to have them hear you sing. You also produced and engineered this record as well too. So now the musicians, John Tidswell, the songwriter, and a bunch of other people working on it as well.
Rod Kirkpatrick on drums, Ken Tay on bass, great bass player. We had Mark Sterling come in and play on a couple tracks. We had Kerry Anderson come in on singing a couple. Rod Kirkpatrick, the late Rod, great drummer. That was a lot of fun to make that record.
I'm going to play just a couple of short clips from this CD here.
Please do.
Because I really want people to hear this. This is some really great stuff, and you get to hear Drew's tone. And I tell you, once again, after I made this clip today, this song has been stuck in my head all day again, and it's going to be there for the next 2 weeks. So let's stick it in a few people's heads out there. Here we go. This is called Middle of the Road by the Cafe Gurus.
I don't want to find me only.
Damn catchy.
Yeah.
Damn.
John Tidswell.
Catchy,
John Tidswell, a hell of a songwriter.
Just killer. Just a killer. Now, I'm just going to rip right into another one here. This is Last Summer Rain, another track from the same CD, The Cafe Gurus here. People, check this out. Enjoy this very much. This is nice.
Your mama told you something happened.
That tone, brother. That tone.
Oh, thanks, man.
God, I love it.
Yeah, good memories, that stuff. I'm proud of that record. Very proud.
You should be. It's a great record, really. Now, it's not available on iTunes. I tried to find it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I definitely went through there and I tried to find it. I didn't check Spotify because I'm not a Spotify fan guy. I don't know. I didn't check YouTube either. Maybe that ends up, a lot of these things end up on there. If not, somebody get on it, get it out there. So
I'll get Johnny on that. Actually, I know I used to be up with when we put the first couple of Marketforces records up, but maybe that changed.
Now, Marketforces is available online. Yeah. Look at that! I'm changing papers, man. Now, Marketforces. This album, you did an album with Marketforces, John Tidswell, Don Horak.
Well, actually, the first record was Dr. Eric Wickman on drums, Jim Ward on guitar, Mark Oman on guitar, John on bass and keys, and me on vocals.
I'm going to play a song from that first CD called Now.
Ah.
This is available on iTunes, so do them a favor and buy this shit, will you? Don't just stream it. Buy it. And or if you're an Apple Music guy, download it. Don't just like it. Just download it.
Exactly.
So everybody get the real credits going, people. Don't just click it when you want to hear the song and let the stream play. Please remember to click the download button. Or completely purchase it, because that's the only way any of us are going to make any money to keep anything going, you guys. So
that's for sure.
Like, just please. But this is called All in the Now from the first Marketforces CD released in 2011, or at least I hope it is, because I just realized I may have these mislabeled. Here we go.
So you just quit comparing yourself to someone else. You tried to turn the tables. You changed the way you felt. Now nothing stands in the way of you. Some type of fighting yourself is what you do. All in the soul and all in the now. I wanna live in your dreams somehow. You always try to say what you mean that you are, and keep your hands
Cool sound and stuff, man.
Yeah, we were a shoegaze band for a track there.
But channeling a little John Lennon vocal style there. I mean, did you set the mic up in the middle of the room and hang by a rope and go around it, or no?
No, I think I got really high when I was mixing it. Actually, that's probably how that happened.
Oh, that's
That song, actually, a little story. Only John and I wanted that to be on the record, because there was only John and I on that until we were like, well, we want to put this on the record. And then we came up with stuff for the other guys to play, so they'd be into it. But that was something that grew out of this groove that Johnny came up with.
Mhm.
And we just sort of finished it, and the demo was really good. And we're like, let's not change it. But we managed to integrate it into the group and get all the guys involved. I really love that track.
Great track. I like it. And I'm glad I got the right track there. So, but I've got one more that I want to play from this as well, too.
Okay.
This is the song Play All Night. I'm sorry I didn't write the other singer's name down.
Amy Van Keeken. She's a local performer, put out a few records. She was in a band called the Secretaries for a while. Mm-hmm. And she's a really great singer and guitar player. And she agreed. We decided this would be nice to have a little back and forth between a guy and a girl in this song. And she was game. So turned out all right.
You did the first verse, she did the second verse. I think I'm catching it right at the tail of her second verse here, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Your guys' voices play really nice against each other here. I want to check this out for everybody. From the Marketforces CD called Now, released in 2011, available on iTunes. This is a song called Play All Night. Here we go.
One night, baby, please. You look like you need release. Tell me what you do instead. Curl up all alone in bed. We could take on everything. Together we could make it spring. I just wanna be with you and please.
That tone, you just got heavy tone and that grr behind it. I fucking love it. I really do. I honestly, man, and it's not the half a glass of tequila I had talking either. I really mean that. The sound that comes out of you when you sing, I fucking love it.
Well, lucky for me, I've worked with songwriters, like John, and the stuff that I try and pick with the Chiefs, the cover band, I try to make it be stuff that I can dig into emotionally, and because the most important thing to me about the singers I really loved was guys that sounded like they meant it.
Yeah.
Like they knew what they were singing about, and like it was real. And so that it wasn't just fluff, and so like guys like Daltrey and again, Paul Rogers and people like that, it's, I was always attracted to those people, Motown singers, Lennon and McCartney, all those people.
Now there's got to be obviously there's that comfort zone when you're singing in your pocket and when you're singing in your zone, you don't try to reach outside of it and try to sing like this guy or that guy. It's just like, I do this well, I sing in here well, and that's that Paul Rogers kind of mentality with it, where it's like he's not trying to sing crazy high notes or crazy low notes. It's or operatic scales. It's just, it's feel, it's tone, it's warmth, it's body, it's it's just that's the cool stuff. That's...
And the best example of that, again, using Paul Rogers as an example, is the Queen DVD when he joined Queen. Oh. I heard about that. There's no bigger Paul Rogers fan than me. And when I heard about that, I was like, oh, that's a bad idea.
You and me both.
Then I heard the DVD, saw the DVD, and I was like, oh, that's perfect.
It fucking worked. I know.
Because he wasn't Freddie. He went in there and he did Paul Rogers, and it was so respectful to Freddie and the music. And I loved they did like Wishing Well on there, which is an old Free song. He was in, as we discussed before, Bad Company, he was in Free. And, just, you learn a lot from hearing that. Like a whole bunch of stuff dropped into place for me when I heard that.
That was, that really was. When I Tie Your Mother Down, like, God, he just sounded great. Everything, he just, We Are the Champions. It was like, you hear Paul Rogers singing, and it's like, I could have heard it this way from day one, and not even have thought twice about it. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Now we got one more Marketforces song I want to play for everybody here tonight before we move along here.
Okay.
We're gonna do something from the next CD, because there's 3 Marketforces CD. This is on the album called Love and Other Conspiracy Theories. Easy for you to say. I get a couple of drinks, the lisp comes out bad in me. But here, Marketforces 2014. This is a song called Shining. I want to play for everyone. Here we go. Check this one out.
You find yourself still shining in spite of all the tests. What you thought was lying turned out to work the best. We were fine till we crossed some line, and I closed my eyes and it all was abstract. I reached down and I tried to touch you, but I recall you were slow to react. I've nowhere left to go. I'm feeling all alone and more. There's something you should know. I'm trying to atone for all the wrongs I've done before.
Yet again. Oh, sorry. Let's get me in there too.
I can't carry it by myself, cuz.
Good stuff. Now, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, the Marketforces. All 3 CDs are available on iTunes. Marketforces, one word.
And Mike sings a track on the third one.
I did. I was kindly asked to sing a track on the third CD. You can hear that as well.
That's a gooder.
That's a gooder. Yeah, it was good. I had fun going and doing that for them. That was nice. I felt honored when they asked me, and you know, like I got to be honest. What? Drew's busy. What?
yeah, they told me, but you know, they really loved what you did, and you were a total pro to work with. So they said nothing but good things. I know that.
Thank you very much, man. Now, you know what? Here, I did, while one of the songs was playing, I kind of threw out to the audience here. Got any questions? And let me just throw a couple of quick questions at you here before we move along. Christina McKay asked, Andrew, what has been more rewarding for you, fronting or mixing?
Well, you know, the fronting thing is there's so many things involved with it that have to do with ego.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, to be honest, I really feel, you know, I put so much more into mixing, so much more time. And, you know, I put a lot of time into both, but, you know, I've been singing for my whole life, and I didn't get serious about it till late. So, you know, I don't know. They're both really rewarding, but I'd have to say I probably lean towards mixing for sure. You know, I mean, there's something to be, it's very difficult to sing. And the older I get, it's even more difficult because with your body being your instrument,
yeah.
And you know, I mean, you've really gotta be in a certain headspace and have certain conditions that these days I don't have as much control over as I used to because I'm an older guy.
Yeah.
Mixing, I just get better and better at it. You know, singing, I have to try harder and harder because I'm fighting age.
I'm with you there, brother. But as well, do you find it like singing is almost, you get gratification from an audience when you sing, but when you're mixing, it's a little quieter. It's a little more of a self-gratification. It's like, man, it sounds fucking great in here tonight. I did a great job, but nobody's coming up and really giving you the same kind of pats on the back that you would get from, say, drunk girl number 5 at the bar. You're such a good singer. I like how you do that song. You know.
Well, you know, every time I do a gig, I'm trying to make it so that the sound isn't noticed. Like, I don't want people. I mean, it's nice when people come up and say, sounded really great, but usually people just say that because they're walking by the soundboard because the exit is behind me. But, you know, when people don't notice it, that's the best. Because
you're
then
right.
you've really done your job at that point. As singing, I'm so gratified when people clap and when people say nice things to me, like they'll take a second on their way out, or people stop me sometimes. And, you know, I've been out somewhere and they'll say, hey, you're the singer from the Joint Chiefs, man. I really love your voice. I saw you got blah, blah, blah. You know, that always really resonates, really touches me because, you know, I mean, that's what made me do this my entire life was I was touched by the sounds people made, by the music people made. And it turned me on, and I wanted my whole life to be like this. So I'm always grateful for the attention. And I mean, look, if you want to be a singer in a band, you better enjoy being the center of attention sometimes because nobody's looking at those other guys. That's what I used to tell you, right? Mike wanted to talk about what we were wearing one night, and I said, it doesn't matter, cuz they're all looking at me anyway. Nobody's looking at you.
Oh God, I was the guy showing up in bad jean shorts, like in
cargo jean
shorts and a fucking stupid shirt and my Gilligan hat. Like, talk about I wasn't going to dress like a Backstreet Boy.
The point when I said fuck it about cargo shorts on stage was Marketforces was opening for the Odds when they came through town.
Yeah.
They were playing at the pawn shop. And I was driving to the gig from home, and Craig Northey from the Odds called me. And he says, yeah, I'm watching Toad the Wet Sprocket on this Tonight Show rerun or something. And we knew the Toad the Wet Sprocket guys because we had the same management in the 90s as Toad did. And he goes, I can't believe that the dude's wearing cargo shorts, man. Cargo shorts do not rock. And I'm driving in my car and I look down and I realize I'm wearing cargo shirts. It's like 100 degrees. And then they walk in the bar while we're in the middle of the set. And I can see Craig looking at me and I just went, you know,
That's awesome. Okay.
at some point you got to be practical. And in Edmonton, if you're playing a club where there's little or no AC and it's, 80 degrees outside Fahrenheit, then you're going to be wearing shorts, or you're going to be drinking your weight.
Like, give us a break. It's Edmonton. We only got to wear shorts 2 months out of the year anyway, for Christ's sake.
Exactly.
Right? I got another question here. Tony, my guest from 2 weeks ago from Dirty Deeds, asked...
Dirty Deeds.
Was it Paul Archer, the light guy he referenced as a light guy earlier on? And then he says, sorry, the airbrush artist. Is that the same guy, Paul Archer?
That's the same guy, yeah.
Same guy. There
When
it is.
when I went to our high school, or maybe I should say when I should have been in high school,
Yeah.
I hung out with there was 4 guys. There was me, there was David Reimer, who's the bass player for Lee Aaron. He was one of the legendary Hearts, Barney Bint. He wrote Do Ya, and he sings lead on Oh Shelley.
Yeah.
He was in BTO. He was in the Headpins. He would play for Bryan Adams for a while. He joined Bryan Adams while we were still kids, you know. Colin Weeb, piano player, keyboard player, great singer, songwriter, played with Randy Bachman for years, and Paul Archer, the incredible airbrush, world-renowned airbrush artist.
Wow.
And those were the guys I hung out with. And, first Dave got a gig, and, that was it. And he was done high school and went and joined this band in Vancouver. And pretty soon they're playing all the places in Vancouver, and we're going over there to see him. And just like, there's our buddy. And then Colin and Dave put a band together. And I started, I worked for them, a band called The Race. I did lights for them. And Paul started working for this band in Victoria called Rock Slide. And,
I remember them. Yeah.
Yeah, he was with them for years.
Yeah.
And a great bunch of guys, and such a great band at the time. And, so we all ended up having careers in the arts, the 4 of us. We were lifers. So with that kind of influence on me, it's... But yeah, that is the same. That is Paul Archer I was referring to. Yeah. I
got another question here from Jason Noble. Have you had the opportunity to mix Slash featuring Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators, which features Todd Kearns and Brent Fitz from Toque?
No, I haven't. But here's an interesting story.
You'd say yes.
The guys from Toque, Todd and Fitzy play in the band. And when Fitzy had to get eye surgery, Shane from Toque filled in. And when Frank from the other guitar player had to do a gig, Corey Churko from Toque came and played in the. So me and their manager Lyle are the only guys who haven't been called up to the
that's right,
to the big league yet. I don't hold out much hope for that.
Oh.
I don't hold out much hope for that, but I'll tell you, mixing Kim Mitchell or Sass Jordan is as exciting as could be. So
absolutely. I mean, now I got Brian Simbalek asked to tell you about Rocky Raccoon and Mickey the Mouse from the Harbor Hotel, but Sims, you already told that story, buddy. And
I watched when Brian was on, and that was awesome. Hi, Sims, love you, buddy. That's a great story. I love that story. We were the boys from Edmonton in the big city, and learning about the industrial strength raccoons, and staying in the Hooker Hotel in the mouse bed, and
the Mickey, when he told about the Mickey Mouse and the
flipping the bed over,
flipping the fucking bed, man, that's great. Mike Patchulek says hi as well too.
Yeah, Patch,
good guy. He was one of my first.
I
guests.
met him when he worked with AOE, and then I saw him a lot when he worked with Trooper, and he's been teching for Bryan Adams for a long time now, and he's just a hell of a guy, man. Hell of a guy.
I'm
if you're out there, Mike, we love you, buddy.
I truly am blessed to have worked with both of you guys. Honestly, I mean,
he's great.
I mean, it was a treat to work with him and his crazy brother Danny too. Oh, I love you guys. So, all right, we got the questions there. We're getting to the good part of the show here. We've got the 3 questions on. No, wait a sec. I'm not there yet.
Oh,
I'm not there yet. I'm not quite there yet. Your lovely bride has asked what your favorite gig is, and I know that we're going to get to that here. Tell you what, yeah, let's do this, and then we'll get to the ending part here. I'm going to hit you up with this stuff right now, okay? I'm going to take those out, and I'm going to bring this up. Andrew White, tell me, what's the best gig you've ever done?
Well, does that mean most memorable?
Best, yeah,
When I think of-
most memorable. If you've got a couple, bring them both. Bring them both.
When people say stuff like that or ask me things like that, my mind goes to Friday night of the Edmonton Folk Fest in 2000. I was on the road with Gord Downey. He had just put out Coke Machine Glow, his first solo record. Yeah, and cheers to
Gord.
Cheers to Gord.
Absolutely.
And we were doing a bunch of folk festivals out here. And Edmonton being the home territory and Friday night being an incredible slot at the Folk Fest. And, the Folk Fest is such a big deal, and it's 2000. And it was,
magical.
That was pretty exciting. They came out. It was an incredible band, guys from the Rio Statics and Skydiggers and Eric's Trip. Such a heavy band and great songs and really great people. Gord was a wonderful guy. That gig stands out because, Gord goes off on a tangent. We all know how he did that live. Well, he was talking to me the whole time for the show, and he'd go, everybody was holding those bags like they do at the Folk Fest with the candles in them.
Yeah.
And he'd go,
lighting up the hill.
Andrew, are those faces or are they candles? Are they faces in those candles? Andrew, he'd be addressed because I guess I'm probably the only person he could see because I'm up there in the thing. And it was a thrill to be mixing the closing set on the main stage at Folk Fest, which frankly I should have done before that. But for some reason, that's why I don't mix the Folk Fest anymore, because when they asked me to keep coming back and doing a side stage, I said, sure, I'll do that as long as I get to mix on a main stage, and it never happened. So fuck you.
Yeah.
But that was a thrill. They walked out in the dark and they started playing. They'd never played it before. They started doing, they were noodling around, and all of a sudden they went into Tonight's the Night by Neil Young. And thinking about it right now, the hair on my arm stands up. Cool. And delivered in Gord's style, and like he meant it. We were talking about that before.
Like he wrote it.
Yeah, like he wrote it. And that one always comes to mind for sure.
Awesome. Wow. That's to steal a Gordism, I guess that's a feather in the cap.
Yeah.
Once again,
I had a recording of that show too, but I lost it over the years.
Oh boy. So, You'll find it. You'll find it. Now,
one day.
Now let's flip the script here. Let's take that one down. I love these ones.
Oh.
Andrew White, what's the worst gig you've ever done?
Well, this will be a good one because the place it happened at was often the site of somebody will say, this was my best gig, my most memorable gig, because the site is so beautiful. And that's the famous, Red Rocks in Colorado.
No, no way. Really?
Beautiful outdoor amphitheater. Oh. Yeah. And I was working for a Canadian band at the time. I'm not going to mention who they were. But you do these things called radio shows. A radio station will put on a concert featuring a whole bunch of acts that are in their that are in their genre and on their playlists, you know. And this band had a single out that was doing quite well, was taken off at radio in America. So we got some of these gigs. And on this one particular show, we were opening for Offspring and L7. And I think maybe Social D was on the gig. And this was like a pop rock group.
Yeah.
And we were on second. And where the console was that most of the first acts were using was not that deep into the crowd because it's seating all the way to the front. And so I'm sitting right in the middle of the audience and the band's, you know, right there. And they hated us. And it was literally like, go back to Canada, you suck.
No. Oh,
and they didn't suck.
Oh,
and,
God.
you know, and so here's being at this venue, and all of us were excited to be there, and tempering that with having an audience just hate you like that.
Oh, no.
America, what can you say? It's full of Americans.
America.
Yeah. So that stands out as a worst gig. Yeah. I've had some incredible ones where one time when I worked with Widemouth, I had the booking agents warn me about this gig. And these guys, you know, like I'm fine with a little bit of funny business because I'm back, you know, I got backup. If you're not going to pay me, if you're not going to pay the band the proper amount of money, you're never going to get another band again as long as your place exists because, you know, the booking agents that we work with are the biggest in the country. And when I call them and tell them that you didn't pay me what you're supposed to pay me, you're through. Yeah. So that didn't ever have to be spoken. Well, one time we played this bar in Oshawa with Widemouth, and it was funny business the whole time. The guy kept jerking me around on the advance and everything else. And day of show, you know, the gear wasn't the greatest, and I put up with it. And, you know, I went and had a talk with the guy, and I said, look, you didn't pay your deposit. You've been dicking me around on everything. Half of what comes out of your mouth is true. I need all our money before the band goes on stage tonight. Sorry. and this guy was like, oh, okay. So it got to the point where he's calling me into his office. I didn't have time to go have dinner or anything or drive the band to the hotel and back because I had to hang around and go in and collect money off this guy every half hour when he got more people coming in the door. God. So finally we get to the showtime and he hasn't paid me all the money. Now I know he can make it, and I know he's going to make that off the bar because it's a well-attended show. So I'm like, okay, fine. Show's over. You owe me the balance, which was whatever, you know, probably somewhere $3,000 to $5,000. Well, I go find the guy after, and he's like, literally, you know, I don't really think I have the money. And I said, well, you know, that's cool. You guys going to be open for a while here? Because, you know, you're not going to get any more bands. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And I go, once the booking agents get a phone call from me saying that you didn't pay what you're contractually obligated to pay, you'll never get another band again. Yeah. Some local bands if you want. You're certainly not going to get Widemouth Mason or anyone like that. And the guy understood the situation. So he proceeded to do everything he could to come up with the final amount, which was only, I believe, $10,000.
Yeah.
So plus GST. Yeah. So he has to get every bit of money from the bar. He's pulling money out of his pocket. He borrows some money off a waitress, and I'm standing there and I'm just getting madder and madder that this guy has jerked me around. You know, and I think John Beckett was the sound guy, and he's checking in with me constantly all the time. And you know, and what are we going to do? And I'm like, well, I think I got it sorted. And finally, all this money comes in, and the guy is short a dime. And I made him turn out his desk drawers till he found 10 cents.
Yes!
Because at that point, I was not leaving until I got every dime. So I'm proud to say that I never, ever walked away from a gig without getting the money. Because job one, when you're the tour manager at a gig, is get the money. And I have a 100% perfect record on that.
Here we go. Here we go. Oh, I even got one more for you.
Excellent!
Hey, did you know that Corey and Shane from Toque are the Wild Stallions?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's
In the
so
new
amazing.
movie. That's right. I couldn't believe it. I saw, what? No way.
Yeah, we're in this thread where we talk about their podcast, and I mentioned I do the research for them on that. Yeah. And Corey mentioned, oh yeah, and Shane's on it too, and I'm like, what? These guys do such cool stuff, and then we rented the movie and watched it. It's just amazing. I can't believe that I'm actually friends with a couple of wild stallions.
Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. Excellent. Now I got the third of the trifecta here of the questions for the Road Story show is, what's the craziest road story you got?
Well, I knew you were going to ask me this because that's the point of the show. And I mean,
you can change names.
Story I can remember. I can't tell you. And the second craziest one I can remember, I can't tell you that either. Or the third or the fourth or the fifth or the...
Oh God!
The wide mouth one is pretty. I mean, there's some things that are like it's like a bad comedy, like a Cannonball Run kind of movie. Like a couple of years ago, I was with Sass and we were doing a gig at the theater in Fort McMurray, and then we had a gig the next night in Camrose at the theater. So we go to get on the plane in Fort Mac. The plane's canceled.
Yeah.
The next one wouldn't get us to Edmonton in time. There's not enough time to drive anymore. And if we don't show up, Sass doesn't get paid.
Ouch.
And, and this is a huge thing. So I got on the phone with Air Canada and I just sort of did whatever I could to try and, do anything. And I got on the phone trying to see if I could charter a plane, how much that would cost and things like this. In the meantime, there was a van. I had a van dropped off at me for the airport to the airport. And the guy who dropped that off, I had to call him and say, I know you don't have your van because you're renting it to me, but could you please take your car, go and get our rental gear that we don't have time to pick up and take it to Camrose and set it up for me? So I get off the phone with Air Canada, and this guy, all of a sudden, we get a notice on our phones, I think, that there's now a flight to Edmonton that's leaving at, I don't know, it gets us to Edmonton at like 5:30 and our gig's at 7 in Camrose. Right?
Oh, fuck. That's
so,
man.
So somehow this, and the next scheduled flight was after that. So Air Canada added this flight somehow. So I get us all checked in on the flight. We were already checked out of the hotel, so we're sitting at the airport all day. We get in the air, and I'm just tense as hell because, Sass is like, hey, is this going to happen? Are we going to pull this off? And I'm like, don't even worry about it. It's just like children. You can't show any panic whatsoever, right? Or it's over.
That's right.
So, and that's not a slight against them or her at all.
No,
so we get to Edmonton, and it's like pile them in this thing and literally drive as fast as I can without getting arrested to Camrose. Now, if you look, do the distance on Google Maps, you look Edmonton Airport to Camrose, that'll take you about an hour and a half. That was when we were on stage.
Yeah.
So I knew the guy, Sean McElveen, who's the guy who runs the venue. And I said, look, this guy's going to come and set the gear up. You have the input list. We're just going to come in. If you can hold the doors. So they held the doors right up until we walked in right at 7:00 when we're supposed to start. Everybody dropped their coats and their luggage, picked up their instruments, did one song, walked off. They let the audience in. We went on at 7:30. Flawless show.
Wow.
So that's not the craziest road story, but there's an example of what at least one day a week is like out there.
God, just the craziness that can happen.
White knuckle ride, tens of thousands of dollars on the table, you know, and everybody's looking at me.
Jeez. That's, yeah.
So,
Because you got to solve the,
yeah.
Oh,
And they're all doing
man.
fun. They're like, oh, I'm going to go get a sub. Because all they have to worry about is playing good. And that's all they are worried about. So I got to go make sure that everything else besides playing good is taken care of. And some days it's a battle for sure.
That's awesome. Now, I want to kind of treat the audience a little bit here. I want to show you at work. Now, sadly, one of the things that happens is when you get people that go to a concert these days, besides the fact that they hold their fucking phones the wrong way vertically instead of like your TV is shaped.
Yeah.
Anyway, the sound quality coming off of the into the phones, you know, it is what it is. Not everything gets professionally filmed, folks. That's just the way it rolls. So a lot of these clips end up on YouTube and that.
And there's nothing anybody can do about that.
That's
if the artist hates it and it sounds like ass, there's literally nothing you can do about it.
I know.
So you can understand how fraught with tension discussions about things like that. Maybe, you know, I've been in the hotel room at midnight and the gig's been over for a while and we came back and had a drink and I'm getting ready to watch at Sports Desk and going to bed and the phone rings and it's the artist going, yeah, there's some video up on YouTube. What the fuck? What? Well, it sounds like well, and, you know, you look at it and it's somebody who's right up front in front of the PA, literally 5 feet. Yeah. But luckily, most of them sound good these days because phones have gotten better. So, you know, as long as you can hear the right stuff, you know I'm doing the right thing.
Well, I think what happens is like a lot of the compression kicks in and the vocal recognition that you hear the vocals and everything else disappears.
Yeah.
Is what I hear a lot of lately. But anyway, now, sadly, there's one more portion of that isn't really nice. They're filming the band. Nobody ever takes the camera and kind of goes back to you in the booth, do they? You know,
well, all they're gonna do is see me looking at the board, looking at the stage, whipping off my glasses, chin up, nodding.
So
literally some shows with Kim though, it's push the faders up and they start playing, and it's just this has actually happened. It's all right there, and just don't fuck around with it.
Don't touch it.
Don't let them do it.
Yeah,
you know, and you kind of feel like a tool. Because, you know, the PA techs are standing there and, you know, people are looking at you. And you just
they want to learn something from you. Yeah,
leaning on the board, enjoying the show. So,
what's his EQ on that kick drum there? Yeah. How much? Whoa, he's running that kind of compression. What the hell? Okay, maybe I'll try that. And yeah,
I'm always interested when somebody comes up and wants to know things. That's part of why doing that course has been great. And I've also done some one-on-one instruction with people who want to do some, quick, intensive learning. But it's always fun I'll tell any young guy the answer to any question. I'll give away all my audio secrets because it doesn't matter. You know, it's just the way I do things. But I love it when people ask me questions.
That's great. That's a great segue into this. You've been teaching a live sound mixing course for the past few years with a local company here in Edmonton. I've been meaning to take that course myself. Time always gets in my way kind of thing, you know. Not that I just want to learn, you know. I don't expect to do anything other than just learn something that I didn't know it worked that way. But I highly recommend that. If anybody out there is interested in doing any kind of sound stuff, get a hold of Andrew White and find out when his next course is going to be because God.
Well, thanks, Mike. And
You learn from the best, man. I mean, like, seriously. You can learn from a book or you can learn from the best. And then you can hit the books. And then hit the books and connect the dots. Because, you know, like for me as a young guitar player, it was all follow the notes on the page. This isn't fucking fun. I want to shred. So you learn the song, and then you go back and kind of piece it together. So same thing with any other technical kind of stuff like that. Trust me on that, folks. You want to learn anything. Sure. Even you don't have to be at the pro level. If you want to just learn how to do stuff to make your buddy's garage band sound better, take the course. You'll learn something, and you'll be able to work with all that kind of stuff. Some stuff might be over your head, but you'll get it. You'll get it.
I'm always getting asked to do something that's directed at musicians, just like to help them gain a greater understanding of the technical aspects of what happens putting on a show. So I'm kind of thinking, I mean, we'll see how long this whole global pandemic thing lasts. Yeah. But I might end up offering something like that locally, where it would be just for musicians, where we can work on, what they need to know so that they have a greater rapport with the people who are doing the tech jobs, how they can make themselves understood, not just basic operation of the equipment for their own use, but, getting a little more involved in that. But thank you for mentioning that, Mike.
That's good. Yeah, I recommend that. And I tell you, as soon as I can, I'll be in that course. Now, let's hear you at work.
All right.
This is you mixing live. However, this is a camera phone from the audience, but you kind of get the gist of it. It still sounds great. And for my money, man, this is really one of the coolest things about having you as my friend. Hearing you work with these guys that I fucking worship. Kim Mitchell, man. Peter Fredette. This song, I mean, I remember being in Joe Rockhead. We opened for Kim Mitchell at the Shaw Convention Center. And I asked the monitor guy, can I go up and take a picture? I was the fan.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't the friend. I was the fan. And I got up there and I took the picture, and it was like shitty little Polaroid camera pictures of Peter Fredette, but it's just that fan moment where it's like I wanted to be on stage 10 feet away from the guy when he was singing his part in All We Are. And if I was smart, I would have put the phone down and just watched instead and listened.
I had times like that. You know, when I was with the Skydiggers, my best buddy Joel was their drummer, and we toured with Blue Rodeo a lot, and every night we'd get as close to Jim Cuddy as we could when he sang Try, one of the greatest male vocals of all time.
Yeah.
And we'd squeeze. I remember squeezing in behind the PA in Newfoundland, you know, on a one-off. There's like 2 feet of space, and we squeezed in there, and we were literally like 2 feet from Jim, and just amazing.
That's
but
awesome.
I know what you mean, pal. 15-year-old me is constantly excited that I mix Kim Mitchell and Sass Jordan and people like that.
Do you have those moments where you kind of get back to the hotel room and you kind of nobody's around and you just get up on the bed and it's like jump up and down?
Oh, for sure.
Bit, you know, absolutely.
For sure. You know, I mean, I'm just as when Kim whips out a Max Webster tune, I'm just as thrilled as the audience is, because it's a treat for me too. You know.
Yeah.
It's I never lose that. I mean, I'm not that way with them. I don't have a lot of photos of me. I mean, I have photos of me with lots of famous people, but they're for me.
Yeah.
They're not for, you know, I'm not, they're people I work with. It's weird. It's different. You know, it's people I work with and I have to relate to them on that level. And, you know, all these famous, beautiful, rich people, folks, they're just as full of shit as you and me. So the sooner you get over
anxiety,
that,
everything. Yeah. Same hang-ups. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
just people.
That's awesome. Now I want to again. We'll get back to this clip of you playing here at work. This is you mixing the one and only Kim Mitchell.
Cheers
doing
to that.
One of my absolutely. Get my glass. Well, I got. Geez, I'm running out here, buddy, but I've held up pretty good. All right, this is Kim Mitchell, Canifest in 2018. Enjoy this, people.
Sometimes stings when you're waiting for a telephone ring.
Wow.
Full on singing boner there. I mean, like,
Yeah, well, I'd never get tired of hearing, Kim Mitchell's guitar, Peter Fredette's voice. Peter, and he's such a wonderful man.
Yeah.
He's so open and kind and a good hang, and so good. And an underrated bass player for sure.
I remember he was playing guitar. He played the Rockland tour.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was his first. Yeah,
that.
that's right. Yeah,
he was playing guitar, and wait a minute. Greg Wells was on keyboards for that.
That's right.
Who produced Kim's latest record, and who's a massive producer. He's done 21 Pilots and all these fancy bands.
My only Kim Mitchell story is he came into town for the Rockland tour. He was going to do a radio promo at K97 downtown. Music Factor, they called up Music Factor, said, "Can you bring a couple of guitars down here so Kim Mitchell can play live on the air?" Sure. Showed up. I got in the sound booth. They go, "You want to do a sound check?" So sure. I sat down and I started playing Hangover on the guitar. Hey, there today, do tomorrow. And I look up into the booth across from me, and all the guys are like, their eyes are wide open. I'm like, "What? Is that all right?"
He's behind me, isn't he?
And it's like, and they kind of point. Yeah, Rod Bader points. He goes, I turn around and Kim Mitchell's standing right fucking behind me. I didn't hear him walk in. He goes, "Sounded pretty good, man." I'm like, I just hand him the guitar and I go, "Here you go, sir." Like, fucking,
yeah.
Like, oh, great stuff. I mean, now as well, being the tour manager, audio tech for Sass Jordan. Sass Jordan's album, her newest album is a blues album. Now I work on a blues radio show that's been on for about 18 years at the Crossroads, and we've played a lot of this album this past year because
it was number one on the Roots chart for like 8 weeks, and now it's in the top 10 again. And that came out like literally in March.
That's right.
When it came, we're all chomping at the bit. That's all her live band on there. Great bunch of guys. We're all chomping at the bit to get out there and tour that. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens when this is all done.
Now, I'll be the one to say this. I'm going to throw this out there. Like, honestly, the blues audience supports blues artists a lot more than a lot of other artists do.
100% agree with you.
The artists will come and go and drop off, but the blues artists get their fan base clings to them and supports them. And Sass putting out a new album, much like the Cyndi Lauper album that came out a couple of years ago as well too.
Right.
Same thing. It was like, this is new. What is she doing? This is something a little new direction. They hear it, they love it, they embrace it, they play it, they buy it, they support it, and I couldn't be happier, man. It was really cool hearing that album and playing the clips that we did on the show. Sadly, the song clip I have to play here tonight is not from that album, but I highly recommend you guys out there download the new Sass Jordan record. You might it's blues. I'm not a blues. It's not John Lee Hooker type blues or that kind of, my dog is dead shit.
No.
It kicks ass.
It's great.
Ass. Yeah. And that correlation between, so many of these people might connect some dots in the end here. They might realize, wow, I listened to AC/DC and I thought it was rock and roll, but now when you hear it, you go, wow, that's actually a blues song. Oh my God, I'm listening to the blues and I like the blues. So buy the Sass Jordan CD. You guys will not be disappointed with that stuff. It's killer. Now, and here you are killing it. This is a clip from you guys in New Glasgow, Nova Scotia.
Oh, nice.
Butte. This is killer. This is Sass Jordan with my friend Andrew White. Soundboard. I got to tell
I
you, man.
miss those guys. I miss them so much.
I got to tell you, for a cell phone video on YouTube, that sounds pretty damn good. You know,
That was a fun gig because Kim Mitchell was the headliner, and Bob. So Bob was there mixing Kim, Bob Schindel, and the Kim guys. So I got to see them, and I just done a gig with them the week before, and was seeing them a week later, and then here we are all out in Nova Scotia for the night. That's, one of the great things. You get friends that you only see in the summertime, and you see them in the greatest places.
that's cool.
These incredible festivals and all this yummy catering.
That's yeah. No brown M&Ms. No. Now I got one more clip. Now, sadly, this is kind of a bittersweet clip because I think this is the last live show that you worked at.
Toque. Yeah.
Now, again, when I first heard what Toque was doing, I literally dropped to my knees. I did, because it was like, God damn, that's the greatest idea I've heard of. Taking all the best Canadian songs and putting them out and playing them faithfully, not reworking them to an nth degree, just nailing them and bringing it to another audience. It was
and they don't throw it away. They're deadly serious. Like it's that music means as much to us as it does to them. Mike.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the canon. That's the shit that everybody was supposed to know, because these were the foundations of Canadian rock, and they certainly are serious about it,
I play 7 songs from the first Toque CD and 5 songs from the second CD, because they are staples of Canadian rock. And this stuff must be played to a new generation. And the fact that these guys are putting it out there. But for me, the coolest part is Todd's connection and Brent's connection, Corey's connection with the bands that they're working with now, with Shania, with Kelly Clarkson, with Miles and Slash. The fact that an American audience can tune into these great Canadian songs. The fact that they're hearing Go for a Soda, they're hearing not because MTV's not around anymore, so you're not going to hear New Girl now, and they're
making fans all over the world, South America, everywhere that Slash is popular, and those guys have a following, and even Shania fans who follow Corey's stuff, they're all and Shane has a big following in Japan because he was in this stadium huge group over there called Bees for a long time. And he played with Yngwie Malmsteen and Michael Schenker and people like that, and he's got fans too. So all these people come and they meet up at this Western Canadian classic rock.
With a great name.
It's so amazing, and it's perfect.
Toque is perfect. I mean, home run stuff. And now this is a clip of them playing their one original song that they've had on their second CD. And I got to tell you, not only is this a great song, but when you hear it from beginning to end, there was Canadian history in this song. It's sounded
like it fell out of a perfect time machine.
Exactly. It sounded
what
like
I think. And, they got a whole bunch more of this stuff, and it's
good.
It really is the definition of real rock in this time, in this day and age, and I'm excited for them. All
that Prism, Trooper, stuff all that stuff that I grew up with, the Kim Mitchell, all that, just these guys put it all into one song. That it seemed and nail it. This now this is from the telethon in Regina.
Oh yeah. This is a great thing. I remember this on the prairies. It used to be broadcast countrywide, and now I think they just show it in Saskatchewan and Manitoba, maybe live. Telemiracle on CTV, and it was great to be a part of. It was really weird though, because I'm up in the second level of the Center for the Arts. There's no window. I'm sitting there with a digital soundboard and a pair of speakers. and the band is playing out there, and they all use in-ear monitors. And the mix I'm doing, I don't care what's coming out of the PA. I'm mixing for the speakers in my room, which are being fed to the TV truck. And who knows? And this is what it came out like. But that was a pretty interesting gig. So I'm mixing their 4 stereo in-ear monitors, sending a feed to the house, and mixing the live TV mix all at the same time.
Oh my God!
And then we came home, and it was COVID. Less than a week after this, we were done. We were at home.
Oh man!
And
all
locked
right.
down.
Bittersweet. Let's play this. Here we go.
Cool.
Toque at the Telemiracle Telethon in Regina, March of this year. This is their original song, "Never Enough." Here we go.
Welcome, Toque.
All right, Telemiracle 44. Let's do this. Well, you beat me up and you put me down. You locked me in, you threw me out. Got my feet back on the ground. Back in the ring for another round. Oh, it's tragic, 'cause I tried. Yeah, I tried. Gonna take some kind of magic to make this all worthwhile. No, it's not enough. It's never enough for you. No, it's not enough. It's never enough for you.
Kick ass, man.
Yeah.
Love it. Just love it. Great stuff.
Yeah, they're great. And that's Slash's drummer playing bass.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Why isn't Todd? Todd is the bass player. Why isn't he playing bass? He's playing guitar, and the drummer
Just
is
kind of works
playing.
out that way.
It's like,
Sometimes
Jesus
they've had to do a gig
Christ.
where one of the guys couldn't make it, so Brent played drums and Spider played bass.
Yeah.
You know, they fly Spider in to do the gig.
Oh, they had Jeff Neal from Streetheart
Jeff
fill in
Neal
a couple
has
of times as
covered
well too.
Yeah.
For Corey, yeah, great stuff.
Yeah, I've
I mean,
done gigs with this guy. We did some stuff around the Grey Cup in Calgary last year, and Corey was doing Shania's show in Vegas. So we had this guy named Zach Throne come out.
Oh yeah, I've heard of him.
And
yeah,
he
yeah.
is such a good dude. And he's
Yeah.
so talented. He plays guitar for that Corey Taylor guy. And they just did that big, huge simulcast video. And Zach plays in the Kiss Cruises with Todd and Bruce Kulick.
Bruce Kulick. That's right. Yeah. Good stuff. I mean, like, let's be honest. Todd's one of the best Canadian singers going right now. You know.
I love the guy, man.
Yeah, great guy. I mean, I think I told my Todd story with Mike Patchel a few weeks back.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't know the words to War Pigs and you did an Aussie tribute? What
Yeah.
the I've never lived that down with the guy. I'm like, here's your microphone back, Todd. You can sing it. I don't fucking know the words to War Pigs. Like, what the
That's
fuck?
hilarious.
God, it was like, I'm just going to go get a drink. Anyway, that's killer, man. I love it. Andrew White, you have been a good friend for a long time and a great guest tonight, and I really couldn't be happier than hell to have had you on the show here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, go to Marketforces, look it up on iTunes, get that stuff. Buy the Sass Jordan CD, buy the Kim Mitchell CD, buy the Toque CD, buy all the fucking CDs. If you don't buy them, download them. Don't stream them, download them.
Wear a mask, wash your fucking hands, and stay the fuck home if you don't need to be going out, so that we can have shows back again. I can get my career restarted. You can hear great new music and shows from all these wonderful artists, folks. It's real simple.
I have nothing to add to that because you nailed it, buddy. I mean, what's on deck? What's on deck now?
Well, I'm really excited to see. I mean, it's obvious the artists I work with are all dropping new stuff. Sass is going to have to capitalize on her thing. I'm worried I'm going to have some scheduling conflicts, which at this point is kind of like a fantasy dream.
Yeah.
I'm sitting around here with my thumb up my ass. So there's that. The other thing is there's a new internet radio station based out of Edmonton called WYEG. They're on imradio.ca, imradio.fm, and they've reached out to a few people to do shows on there. You, for instance, Mike, are doing a show, and I am proud to announce right now for the first time that I will be also doing a weekly 1-hour show called High Fidelity.
Yeah. All
After
right.
the Nick Hornby book, because I'm a music geek. I'm a music geek, and I like to make lists. So, I pick a subject and make a list and do the show, and I got some tidbits and nuggets of info and some stories and things like that. And I eventually may have a few guests on. I'm going to hold out for the heavy hitters. But High Fidelity is the name of the show on WYEG, imradio.ca. I believe they'll be up and running in the next couple of weeks. So check that out and give it a listen. Thanks for asking, Mike. By the way.
Awesome, buddy. Yeah, I'm happy to have a show on there. I got the official Party Hog radio show. I mean, it's so inventive of me. I have to change one word in all my shows: basement show, road story show, radio show. I mean, I'm so
Truly are becoming the archduke of all media.
I am. I love it. Oh man. Well, I'm going to be playing some Jellyfish. How about you?
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get around to that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying to stay out of everybody's lane,
I know. I'm trying.
It's hard.
Again, I thought the perception is that I was going to play a lot of Aussie.
Yeah.
Where it's like, nope, no. We're gonna have some fun with it. Yeah, WYEG. Check that out. It's coming on soon here, folks.
Should be
I'm
cool, folks.
happy to. I can't wait to hear your show. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. It's going to be really cool. So you guys
too,
have some
brother.
fun with that. Once again, thanks for being a guest on the Road Story show here tonight. My dear friend Andrew White, my cousin. I love you. I love you, man. It's been fun.
Great to see you, Mike. Don't be a stranger, pal.
I won't. I hope to see you soon, brother. And take care, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, say good night. I'm looking at the Facebook feed right now to the right of my eye, and before I say goodbye to Drew here, I want to see a lot of love. Throw a ton of those love hearts up there. Come on, give us some love. Now I gotta BS here for the 8-second delay until that kicks in there, but I know that we're gonna be hitting a whole lot of love here. But Drew, I love you. Andrew White, my dear friend, good guest, and thanks again for being on the show. We'll talk soon, buddy.
Thank you, bro. Take care now.
Big heart. Love you. Peace. Good night. All right. What can I say? Oh, down to my volume there. There we go. So I don't hear myself too loud. Let's bring that back up. Holy shit. Look at all those hearts flying. God damn. Look at that stuff. Drew, they love you, buddy. And I love you too. Thanks again for tuning into the official Party Hog Road Story Show, number 13 here tonight. Before I say goodnight, I want to thank all my guests that have been on the show. Andrew, Mike, Carrie, Darren, oh God, I'm going to forget somebody, Kennedy, Tony, Brian, Russell, Eric. Oh God, I'm forgetting 4 or 5 people. It's just Potzheimer's, folks. I truly have been blessed to have some good friends on the show here, and I love you guys. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I don't even know who my guest is next week. I'm so unprepared here for tonight. It's just been one of those weeks. I'll let you guys know as soon as what's happening here. But thanks again for tuning in here, and big love to all the people watching here tonight, all of you guys. Please share, please like. Okay, due diligence here. Go to partyhog.com. for more Road Story shows. My playlist is on there. My basement shows are on there as well too. So if you want to see some past interviews with other guests, you can go there. And that is on Facebook at Party Hog. Some of you might be watching us on Facebook, but some of you might be watching us on YouTube at The Party Hog. That's where all the YouTube playlists are. The Road Show playlist and the Basement Show playlist. I'm also on Instagram, but who fucking cares? So anyway.
How dare you?
I know. I had to get Greta in there. Thanks again for tuning in to the show tonight. One more time, I'd like to thank Fortification Security Solutions for being my sponsor here tonight. My good friend, Fort McMurray. I love you guys. Peace and love. And we will see you next Monday night. And let's see if I get this right tonight. Here we go. Love you.